I'm Dylan Phillips, and this is the Film Fanatics review of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Now, I'll start off with a spoiler-free review, but then I'll get into the nitty-gritty part of it later. And as a devoted Potterhead, I will try my hardest to be entirely objective. Fantastic Beasts is the first of 5 films following the journey of Newt Scamander, an expelled Hogwarts student. He hopes that writing a book about magical creatures will help the wizarding world understand that these beasts aren't as violent as they appear. In his first adventure, Newt travels to 1920s New York, where he accidentally releases his magical creatures onto the city. Now, overall, I thought that this movie was very enjoyable. I thought that it brought a lot for all ages. Growing up with Harry Potter made any new movie set in the RCU a no-brainer to me, but this film, regardless of if you're a fan of Harry Potter or not, simply works. David Yates is back for his 5th collaboration with first-time screenwriter J.K. Rowling, and he brings the ideal blend of comedy and grit to this spin-off series. The characters are very enjoyable, the world is, for a lack of better word, magical, and the score gives this sense of nostalgia but still stands on its own 2 feet. Now, I believe that this film has the ability to have Oscar-worthy special effects, but I still think it's going to be beat by Doctor Strange. But unfortunately, this is J.K. Rowling's first screenplay, and it shows in some kinks here and there with some awkwardly placed beats, and it feels like she's trying to set up the 5 movies in one. And I mean, it made sense for the Harry Potter series because it came from books, and you're trying to establish that they're in school and this is what they're doing. However, in this movie, it seems like she kind of pushed too much on the audience in the first act. That and a few oddly placed editing choices makes the first act a bit underwhelming, but the film quickly picks up speed. Alright, now I'm going to go into the spoiler review, so you have been warned. First of all, did anyone else notice that Newt was a bit of a Doctor Who type? I mean, come on. No? Okay, well, that's just me. Regardless, I found Newt to be a very likable character, and I'm really looking forward to seeing his future adventures. Unlike the previous films, Fantastic Beasts follows adult-age wizards, giving them the ability to have established actors take on the roles, and Eddie Redmayne does not disappoint, making sure that Newt Scamander is one of an instant classic in the RCU. I mean, he's shy, intelligent, quirky, but it's his love of animals that makes you fall in love with the character. I mean, it isn't until that one iconic scene in this film, and yes, I'm using the term iconic, when both Newt and Jacob go into the suitcase for the first time and you see the animal safe haven. When you see this, you see not only the character of Newt as the walls have been taken down around him, but also you see the creativity of J.K. Rowling herself. We're introduced to a few dozen animals, like a kleptomatic platypus, a snake-dragon hybrid, a griffin, a hippo-elephant hybrid, and even a lock-picking stick bug named Picket. If this is just the beginning of Newt's story, I cannot wait to see the new and possibly previously seen creatures that he stumbles upon. Side note, did anybody else find that scene in the subway where it was that lightning wizard battle between Graves and Newt, it seemed very Star Wars Episode 6-esque? I mean, you have Graves there as the Emperor, you have Newt as Luke, and then Credence is just over there kind of debating what to do, and he seemed a little bit like Darth Vader in that sense. I mean, maybe that was just me. As for the rest of the supporting cast, they were pretty well rounded, but their fates for future films seems a little unclear. Now, speaking of the cast, I'm going to make a statement that some of you might not agree with. The story isn't about Newt. Okay. Before you call for my head, just hear me out. The story follows the life of Newt Scamander, but the plot of the film follows the life of Jacob. See, the structure of a film is that the protagonist's life is changed in some way. So basically what happens is that an event happens at the beginning of the story, and it causes them to go into a world that they've never experienced before. And then by the end of the film, when there's some climactic finish, they are put back into their ordinary original world, yet they've somehow managed to come out of it with something new, whether it be knowledge or something physical. For reference, here's an example from Mad Max. Is this a spoiler within a spoiler? Spoilerception. See, Mad Max is the Newt of his film, and Furiosa is Jacob. And so basically, Furiosa's life is changed the moment that Mad Max enters her life. She's unable to confront and defeat Immortal Joe until she has the aid of this companion. And this is the same with Jacob in Fantastic Beasts. We're first introduced to Jacob when he goes to the bank to get a loan to open up his bakery. And his world changes when he meets Newt for the first time at the bank, and he's opened up to the world of magic. Now, Jacob must help his new friend Newt in his own quest in order to explore this unknown world around him. And by doing this, Rowling has created a great plot device. He's used similarly to Harry Potter, where they're both used as kind of the gateway between the audience and the wizarding world to kind of explain everything to us. Even the end of the story where Jacob loses his memory, he still returns to his old life, but for the better when he receives a gift from Newt. Now, yes, I know an argument can be made about Newt's ordinary life being England, and the beginning and end of the film where he's going on and off the boat can signify the beginning and end of his journey in New York. But he doesn't really experience that much change in his character from the beginning to the end, and that stuff is really shown pre and post credits, so it doesn't encompass the entirety of the film, whereas you see the general arc of Jacob's story from beginning to end. Aside from Jacob's and Newt's respective storylines, there are a few others in this film. There are the Goldstein sisters, Credence, and the Grindelwald grave individual storylines. And was it just me, or was that Grindelwald reveal just a little too easy to guess? I mean, come on, it was in the hair. Now, what has me curious is what they're going to do in these future films. I mean, news broke that the next film is going to be set in Paris, potentially bringing Bo Batten into the mix. But I'd like to see, for the final 3 films, them go to even more exotic locations. I mean, come on, you have the Amazon, you have the desert, you have the ocean, you have the Himalayas. Is Bigfoot a magical creature? Alright, so final verdict. Fantastic Beasts is a fun and exciting fantasy adventure movie for all ages, and it succeeds at being both a successful spin-off series as well as its own standalone film. As a Potter fan, I was pleased with this film, and I'm really excited to see the new era of Harry Potter fans that come out of this. Newt Scamander is a charismatic protagonist surrounded by a charming cast of human and animal misfits that bring us into a different era of the wizarding world, allowing us to see an entirely new perspective. Although Rowling and Yates had a few rough patches in their first act due to a lot of information-heavy setup, I believe that if they continue at the pace that they were doing with the final 2 acts, it'll be a smooth-sailing, fast-paced final 4 films. I give Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I recommend this film to anyone who is a fan of Harry Potter, a fan of history, or a fan of fantasy. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed my review of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. If you have any comments of your own and you'd like to discuss anything, comment below or message me on any of my social media accounts. My name is Dylan Phillips, and this was Film Fanatic Review.